We're about to embark on a journey into the darkest corners of America, a land where history and horror collide, leaving behind remnants of energy, of anguish, of unspeakable events. From the decaying walls of prisons to the opulent halls of grand hotels, these locations stand as chilling reminders that some things just can't be explained. These are the places where the veil between our world and the other side wears thin, where the echoes of the past bleed into the present, and where the living, well, let's just say they get a glimpse into what lies beyond. Get ready, because we're about to confront the unknown head-on. We're diving into the top 10 most haunted places in America. Our journey into the heart of darkness begins in Philadelphia, at the Eastern State Penitentiary. This isn't just an old building, it's a monolith of despair. Imagine, the most expensive prison ever built, a place where notorious criminals like Al Capone did their time. But the real terror didn't leave when the last inmate walked out. This place is a breeding ground for paranormal activity. People report seeing shadows darting down the corridors, hearing whispers from long-gone convicts. Some even feel icy fingers grazing their skin. And then there's Cell Block 12. That's where the real negativity festers. Disembodied screams, chilling laughter echoing through the halls. This is where the energy is strongest, where the veil feels paper thin. I've investigated Eastern State, and let me tell you, the minute you step inside, the air gets heavy. You can feel the weight of the suffering that happened here, the torture these inmates endured, both from the guards and from themselves. It lingers in the very stone. We're talking solitary confinement, sensory deprivation, unimaginable cruelty. These men were driven mad, and that madness, that raw energy, it doesn't just disappear. It gets imprinted on the environment, trapped within these walls. That's why the paranormal activity here is so intense. These spirits, they're trapped, replaying their pain over and over. Next, we travel to the breathtaking yet unsettling landscape of Estes Park, Colorado, home to the Stanley Hotel. You might recognize this place. It's more than just a hotel. It's a gateway into the macabre. Stephen King himself was inspired to write The Shining after a stay here. But trust me, you don't need a fictional story when you have the real deal. This grand hotel has seen it all: unexplained deaths, accidents, and a long history of guests reporting the same terrifying encounters. It's like the energy here is a magnet for the paranormal, and at the center of it all is the spirit of F.O. Stanley, the original owner, still keeping a watchful eye over his beloved hotel. They say his wife, Flora, is still here too. Guests have heard phantom piano music echoing from the ballroom late at night. And then there's room 217. The stories about that room could make your hair stand on end. People report waking up in the middle of the night, their belongings scattered, the temperature plummeting. Some even claim to have seen full-bodied apparitions. It's like the veil between dimensions is especially thin in that room, a portal to somewhere else. The Stanley Hotel is a chilling reminder that sometimes the most beautiful places hide the darkest secrets. We're just scratching the surface of the horrors that await within these walls. Guys, this place is just plain creepy. Imagine a house with doors that open to walls, staircases that lead to nowhere. It's like walking through a nightmare. Sarah Winchester believed she was haunted by spirits. Can you imagine the guilt and fear? A medium told her to keep building to appease the spirits. The result? A labyrinth of 160 rooms. This place is a physical manifestation of fear. You can feel the energy here, heavy and unsettling. We've investigated a lot of places, but there's something uniquely unsettling about the Winchester Mystery House. It's the sheer scale of the place, the endless hallways and dead ends. It's like the house itself is alive, designed to confuse and disorient. There are stories of secret passages, hidden rooms, and even a seance room where Sarah tried to communicate with the spirits. What did she find out? What did she learn in those dark hours? We've heard EVPs here, whispers and moans that send chills down your spine. The spirits here seem lost, confused, trapped in the same way that Sarah was trapped by her own fear. It's a sobering reminder of the power of guilt and the lingering effects of violence. The Myrtles Plantation, man. This place is steeped in darkness. Built in 1796, it's seen its share of tragedy. We're talking murder, poisoning, brutal deaths. It's like the land itself is cursed, soaked in the blood of its past. They say the most active spirit here is Chloe, a slave who poisoned the family that owned her. Legend has it she's often seen wearing a green turban, her eyes burning with a vengeful fire. But Chloe's not the only one. There are stories of ghostly children playing on the veranda, their laughter echoing through the halls, a chilling reminder of lives cut short. Furniture moves on its own, objects disappear and reappear, and an oppressive feeling hangs over the whole plantation. The Myrtles Plantation is like a magnet for the paranormal. You can feel it the moment you step onto the grounds. It's in the air you breathe, the shadows that seem to move just a little too quickly. We've captured some of our most compelling evidence here. EVPs, temperature drops, even physical contact. It's clear that something dark happened here, something that refuses to stay buried. Some say the spirits here are angry, trapped in a cycle of pain and suffering. Others believe they're trying to communicate, to share their stories with the living. Whatever the reason, there's no denying the power of this place. The Myrtles Plantation is a stark reminder that the past is never truly gone, and some sins can't be washed away. This place, Waverly Hills Sanatorium, is a monument to suffering. Imagine a place where over 63,000 souls lost their battle with tuberculosis. The sheer number of deaths here is staggering, and the energy is palpable. It's heavy, oppressive, like the air itself is thick with sorrow and despair. You walk these halls, and you can practically hear the echoes of the past, the coughs, the cries, the whispers of the dying. It's enough to make you sick to your stomach. People have reported seeing shadowy figures, hearing the squeak of gurney wheels in the dead of night. There are stories of a little boy who plays with a red ball, his laughter echoing through the empty rooms, a chilling reminder of the innocence lost within these walls. One of the most disturbing parts of Waverly Hills is the body chute. It's a long, dark tunnel used to transport the deceased out of the sanatorium. Can you imagine the horror of being wheeled down that chute? This place is a hotbed of paranormal activity. We've caught some of our most disturbing EVPs here. There's something uniquely unsettling about Waverly Hills. We're headed to the California coast, to a legendary vessel docked in Long Beach. The Queen Mary, this grand dame of the sea, has seen it all: luxury, war, and tragedy. Some say those tragedies left a darkness that lingers in the ship's steel bones. Passengers have reported unexplained cold spots, disembodied voices, and full-on apparitions. One of the most haunted areas is Stateroom B340. The room is so active, the ship stopped renting it out to guests. The Queen Mary's history is full of stories that could easily fuel these hauntings. A sailor was crushed to death in Door 13, now a portal to the other side. The first-class pool echoes with the laughter of children long gone. The lady in white haunts the Queen's salon, a vision of elegance. We've investigated the Queen Mary. It's alive with paranormal energy. Spend a night on the Queen Mary and be prepared for the unexpected. We're heading to the Sunshine State, to St. Augustine, Florida. You might not think a place known for beaches and sunshine would be haunted, but you'd be wrong. Because standing tall on the coast is the St. Augustine Lighthouse, a beacon for lost souls as much as ships at sea. Built in 1874, this lighthouse has witnessed its share of tragedy. Drownings, accidents, and the ever-present danger of the sea itself have left their mark. Visitors and staff report cold spots, disembodied whispers, and even full-bodied apparitions within the lighthouse walls. One of the most well-known stories is that of the former lighthouse keeper, who tragically fell to his death while painting the tower. His presence is said to be strongest at the top of the lighthouse, where he takes his final fatal plunge. But the keeper isn't alone. Legend has it that two young girls, who died tragically, roam the lighthouse grounds. Their laughter echoes through the empty rooms, a chilling reminder of lives cut short. Visitors claim to see shadowy figures peering from the tower windows. The St. Augustine Lighthouse is where the veil between worlds thins. Deep in the heart of Tennessee lies the Bell Witch Cave. This isn't just some spooky story. It's one of America's oldest and most terrifying hauntings. The Bell family in the early 1800s were tormented. Physical assaults, disembodied voices, and a relentless entity. John Bell was the main target, leading to his death. Even today, people report the witch's wrath. Unexplained temperature drops, disembodied voices, and the feeling of being watched. Some say the Bell Witch was a vengeful spirit. Others believe it was a demonic entity. Its terror has marked this corner of Tennessee. The Bell Witch Cave is not for the faint of heart. If you choose to enter, do so with caution. Guys, Bonaventure Cemetery. This place is different. It ain't just about the chills, it's about the weight of sorrow, the feeling of permanence. This whole cemetery, it's like a giant magnet for lost souls. You got these ancient oaks draped in Spanish moss, casting these crazy shadows that seem to move on their own. It's beautiful, but there's this underlying sadness that gets under your skin. We're walking on the same paths as those who are buried here. Their energy, their pain, it's palpable. You can practically reach out and touch it. And trust me, you don't know what you might find if you do. This place is alive, and I don't mean that in a good way. Now, the story of little Gracie Watson. It's enough to break your heart. 6 years old, man. 6 years old when she died, and her story is forever etched into this place. They say her spirit never left. People claim to see her little statue cry tears of blood. Tears of blood. That's some heavy residual energy right there. I'm getting a chill just thinking about it. A little girl trapped here, forever mourning her lost life. We're gonna try to communicate with Gracie. We need to know if she's here, if she's suffering. We need to help her find peace. The Lizzie Borden house. This place is a beast. You walk in and you can feel the violence that happened here. It's soaked into the walls, into the very foundation. August 4th, 1892. Andrew and Abby Borden were brutally murdered in their own home. The suspect? Their own daughter, Lizzie. Now, Lizzie was acquitted, but the energy here tells a different story. The air is thick with anger, with fear, with the raw energy of a horrific crime. This isn't just a house. It's a crime scene frozen in time. And whatever happened here, it left a stain on this place that will never wash away. People report hearing the phantom thuds of an axe, the screams of the victims echoing through the halls. Some even say they smell the metallic tang of blood. We're going to try and connect with whatever is trapped here. Is it the residual energy of the murders themselves, or is it something more sinister? I've investigated a lot of haunted locations, but this one feels different. There's a darkness here that's almost suffocating. Whatever happened to the Bordens, it left a scar on this house, a scar that continues to bleed to this day. From the chilling cell blocks of Eastern State Penitentiary to the blood-soaked floors of the Lizzie Borden house, we've confronted the darkest corners of America's haunted history. We've heard the whispers of trapped souls, felt the icy grip of the unseen, and witnessed firsthand the terrifying power of residual energy. These places, they stay with you. They make you question everything you thought you knew about life, about death, about the thin veil that separates our world from the next. But most importantly, they remind us that we are not alone.